My name's Ruth Heft, and this is Big Lake Trees. We are located 9 miles southeast of Mount Vernon along Highway 9. So this was the idea of my mother-in-law, Polly Winkleman, who thought that a Christmas tree farm would be a great retirement from her career teaching kindergarten. So she and her husband Bob purchased the land in 1973, and my husband and I moved up here in 1999, purchased an additional 44 acres, which is mostly forest, and added a little bit to the Christmas tree farm. And I work the farm now with my two brothers-in-law, Phil and Bill Heft. So the tree farm started off with mostly Douglas fir. That was our big seller for a long time. But people are gradually moving into more noble fir and grand fir. In our lower field, we have some problems with root rot diseases, 2 types, and so we are switching over to Nordman fir, which are resistant to the root rots that affect the noble firs. So we do try to use integrated pest management, IPM, to control the amount of spray that we use on the farm. It's not an organic farm, but we do try to limit to just spraying the grass around a new seedling to control the grass rather than keeping the whole field cleared of all other plants. So the forest here is mostly western red cedar, also Douglas fir, and alder. There's also a little bit of cottonwood. So the tree farm right now is not really harvesting timber. We're using it mainly for scenic privacy. Our most recent timber harvest was 2004 or 5. We logged 2 acres of alder that was getting to a mature point and needed to come down. Unfortunately, it wasn't particularly well managed. The logger had a lot of problems with equipment breakdown, made kind of a mess, ended up with a lot of firewood out of the deal and not much profit. So one of the advantages of being associated with the tree farm program has been that the foresters volunteered to recommend local loggers or foresters that would help with a future plan. It's nice to have access to those professional resources. So there's no waterways on this farm, but we are above Big Lake, so the entire drainage, we feel, helps filter the water that's feeding Big Lake, Nookachamps Creek, and eventually the Skagit River, which is a salmon-bearing stream. When Polly and Bob first bought the property and dug drainage ditches across the lower field, which was pretty wet, they also had a pond put in, and since it has become completely full of bullfrogs, so there's quite a nice chorus in the evening when the bullfrogs get going. So we have black-tailed deer on the property, which are a problem for the Christmas trees because they like to rub their antlers on the bark. We also have just small native species, and a beekeeper brings his honeybees to the farm mainly for blackberries. 2 years ago, a black bear got into the beehives, knocked them apart, and dragged pieces of the hives out into the woods, did quite a bit of damage, so he had to put up a solar fence to protect the hives. The bear hasn't been back, and I never saw him, but it was pretty obvious that a bear had done the damage. So we do open up the Christmas tree farm for people to walk around, and there are people who hike across the upper field, which is a pipeline and electrical transmission wires access. So that land couldn't be grown to go timber, obviously, would interfere with the power lines. We've planted Christmas trees, and it's been a good open area for people to come, and plenty of sun for the Christmas trees. The main use is at Christmas time when people come to get their Christmas trees. They like to drive through the woods, but also a lot of people get out and walk the road so that they can walk through the forest and enjoy the woods. Even if it's raining, they don't seem to mind. They come prepared in their raincoats and they have a good time getting out with their kids in the forest. And a lot of the local people have been coming here for Christmas trees ever since they were little, and they're now bringing their kids to get Christmas trees at Big Lake Trees. So it's been kind of a fun family tradition around the community. So we've thought about succession planning for the farm. Unfortunately, my daughter is not interested in Christmas tree farming, and neither are the other boys' families interested probably in following up. So at this point, I'm hoping to live here until I'm done, and then it will probably be sold. With any luck, we hope to find someone who might like to buy a Christmas tree farm and keep it going, because we do think it's a good resource for the community.